10 Secrets You Missed in Disney's Encanto Part 2. Disney's Encanto, the mesmerizing new animated movie of Disney that everyone who has watched it has liked. This has a lot to do with the fact that Encanto was a feel-good movie. It's beautiful and it has colorful graphics that make the whole screen shine bright. It's full of emotions surrounding the main character Maribel, which makes us feel good and more attached to it. It's full of original and vibrant music that you would actually listen to every day without watching the movie. It has a rich storyline full of great dynamic characters, action, and emotional scenes. It's definitely one of the best animated Disney movies of the past decade. Encanto is also full of characters that make the experience a lot more fun to watch, like the funny Camilo, who likes to mess with everyone in the family, or Felix, the caring dad who always lightens up the mood of everyone who is in the same room as him. All of these points come together and create a joyful and awesome movie that you have an incredible time watching. Encanto tells us the story of Maribel, a young energetic woman who lives her life with her family deep inside the Colombian mountains, in a magical place called the Encanto. Encanto is a very distinct place because when a new member of the magical family is born, it gives that person of the family a magical gift, like being able to grow roses anywhere or being able to talk with birds and animals. But oddly enough, Maribel, one of the most energetic characters in the movie, doesn't get a gift. The door closes when she was about to get hers, but little does she know that she will be the only hope to save the magic of the family. Encanto will be affected by a curse, and Maribel will be the only one to save it. In the process, Maribel will go through all sorts of adventures that make her see that she's special in her own way. But there are many secrets that you guys didn't see in the Encanto movie. Secrets that are so hidden and you didn't see, yet they mean a lot and add a lot more to the story than you know. And today, we will see them in Encanto like I showed you in the part 1. So without further ado, let's get straight into the 10 secrets you missed in Disney's Encanto Part 2. Let's go, guys! Dolores Madrigal, the daughter of one of the most loved characters of the entire movie, Felix, and his wife Peppa Madrigal. Dolores is a very joyful character that adds a lot of fun and a funny tone to the movie. But most of it all, she's incredibly nosy, mainly because of her power. She has an incredibly sharp ear and can even hear the sound of a pin dropping, as we can see later in the movie. And because she can also hear people from a long distance, she hears everything from everyone in Encanto, which sometimes causes her a lot of stress and trouble. Now, we all know that the characters' clothes mean a lot in Encanto and they reference a lot of things in their personality. And if we look at the dress of Dolores in the movie, we see that she has yellow waves in them like a crescendo formation from little to big. And in the end, we see a little dot. Well, this is actually a reference to her power. These are frequency waves that represent sound and the length that they travel to, clearly referencing her power, which is hearing all sounds even if they're low. So basically her power is being represented as sound waves in her own dress. Antonio Madrigal, the youngest and favorite child of the golden married couple, Felix and Peppa. Antonio is also the youngest member of the Madrigal family. Antonio is a very innocent and kind kid. He tries to do the best for his family and will do whatever for them. Antonio is also very close to Maribel, the main character of Encanto. He looks up to her in every way and wishes that she could have a magical gift as well. He's very caring, supportive, and a very kind kid to all of the members of the family. A great character, to be honest, but the power that Antonio has is being able to talk with animals. But not all type of animals though. Animals only found in the Amazon area, which is where Encanto is located in. Like we see in the scene, here we can see the capybara, a big rodent that lives in the Colombian forest. Here we can see a toucan, known for his huge beak and can also be found in the deep Colombian woods. Also the tapir, a very distinct animal with a special trunk, and the jaguar, considered the king of the jungle and also lives in the Colombian forest. These animals are also a reference to the vast and rich animal kingdom that exists in Colombia. All throughout the movie, we see a very peculiar type of food that the Madrigal family eats all the time. Here in this scene where Maribel's mom is talking to her, we can see it very clearly. It looks like a flat type of bread, and it looks delicious even in animated form, honestly. Well, this is called an arepa. We see it mentioned many times in the film, and it's really popular in the South American countries, especially in Venezuela, and of course, Colombia, where the movie is set. It's made out of ground maize dough, or sometimes it can even be made of kernel dough instead. And once it's made, it's usually filled with chicken, meat, or other foods like avocados and cheese. The arepa is a very important and characteristic symbol of the Colombian culture and cuisine, to the point where they even have an arepa festival every year in Colombia to celebrate this beautiful food. As such, this important Colombian food couldn't be left out of the movie, and it had to be referenced by the directors and the producers of the movie. Bruno Madrigal, one of the most important and funniest characters of Encanto. Bruno is the only son of the marriage of Alma and Pedro Madrigal. Because Bruno could foresee the future, sometimes in a very negative way, he detached himself from the Madrigal family, who saw him as a black sheep. Then he disappeared completely, and his name became a secret in the Encanto world, and nobody could talk about him. Then, at one point throughout the movie, Maribel finds him behind the walls of their house, where he had been hiding for years. Now, in this scene where Maribel is talking to Bruno, if we look at the back, we can see a boot. It looks like a normal boot, but if we look at it clearly, we can see that this is the same boot we see in Wall-E, with the plant growing on it and everything. Both are Disney movies, and since we know that Disney loves to put references to other movies in their new ones, this is without a doubt a reference to Wall-E. One of the reasons why Bruno was also very much disliked by his own family, besides the fact that he always had negative visions of the future, is his love for rats. Bruno always liked rats, and that was always seen with bad eyes by the Madrigal family, who saw it as something dirty and negative as opposed as the clean and positive energy that Encanto had, which is why they also kicked him out of the family. Well, in a few scenes after the boot scene, we see that Bruno takes a football picture and puts it in the rat heads, recreating a football match. Well, this football match that we see in this picture is actually a real legendary match that happened in real life. It was the match between Germany and Colombia during the 1990 World Cup. It was such a memorable match for Colombia because against all odds, Colombia actually scored a goal against Germany by the player Frederick Kahn, which we can also see portrayed in this picture. And because the match was so important and legendary, it was referenced in the Encanto movie. Isabella Madrigal, the spoiled and favorite girl of the Madrigal family, mainly because her power is the most beautiful one in the whole Encanto movie, and as a consequence, everyone likes her because of this. She's Maribel's sister and the daughter of Julieta and Augustine Madrigal. Later in the movie, Isabella and Maribel become very close as Maribel teaches her how to be more imperfect and teaches her how to grow all sorts of plants rather than only being able to grow flowers. This liberates her as she blossoms in a very beautiful way. Now, in this scene where Isabella and Maribel are having an argument about her power, in the side, we can see a throne that looks very characteristic. Well, this is because this throne right here is a reference to the famous Iron Throne of Game of Thrones, the throne of the king of Game of Thrones, but instead of being made of spikes and swords, it's made out of beautiful flowers. And instead of belonging to the king, it belongs to none other than Isabella Madrigal. A funny reference to the Game of Thrones franchise. In the end, Maribel is successful in protecting and saving the magic of Encanto, but now there is a problem: the house is in ruins due to the curse. So right before the movie ends, we see the scene right here where all the family gathers around the house to start rebuilding it and bringing back the life that it once had. And in one moment of the scene, we see Bruno Madrigal apologizing to Peppa, and after this, he sings the sentence, "Let it go." Does this ring a bell? Yes, I think it does. This is a clear-cut reference to the famous song, "Let It Go" in Frozen. If you rewatch the movie, you can even see that he says it with the same tone and rhythm as Elsa and Frozen. Both movies are from Disney, and they have a very similar storyline, so the directors wanted to give a little reference to such an iconic song in this scene of Encanto. Encanto is not based in a fictional place or country. It's set in the real country of Colombia, a country with such a vast and rich culture, nature, and peoples. Because of this, the directors wanted to emphasize the diversity of Colombia in the movie. So let's see the places where Disney was actually inspired by to make the movie. The place where Encanto is set is inspired by a real-life place called the Cocora Valley. It's located inside the coffee-growing axis of Colombia, and this place is also home to the amazing-looking wax palms that grow as tall as 200 feet in height. We can also see the same wax palms in Encanto sitting around the house. The buildings and houses we see in Encanto are inspired by the architecture of the city of Cartagena. These buildings date back to the early modern era and were built by the Spanish between the 16th and the 18th century. Some of the streets we see in Encanto were inspired by the streets of a town called Barichara, a town that has a lot of these characteristic stone-made streets we see in Encanto. And finally, the river where Maribel and her grandma reconcile with each other is actually called Caño Cristales and is a beautiful river naturally made up of 5 magical colors that give it a mesmerizing look, and it's such a beautiful thing to look at. Luisa Madrigal, Maribel's older sister and the strongest member of the Madrigal family. Then Maribel shows her that she's more than just a strong girl, and she learns a lot of lessons throughout the movie. But believe it or not, Luisa's not actually a fictional character. She's strongly based on the real-life weightlifter Maria Isabel Urrutia. She won the gold medal in the 2000 Olympics, uplifting the name of Colombia in the competition. Because she was such an iconic character in the Colombian culture, they gave her a homage with Luisa. And well, my guys, that's all the dose of DJ there is for today. I really hope you guys liked this video and liked the part 2 of the secrets in Disney's Encanto. If you liked the video, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up if you liked it, subscribe, and I will catch you on the next one, my guys. Peace!